I am so excited. We have a fabulous speaker tonight. I met this gentleman about a year ago at the Bellevue Kickoff. He was speaking, and I was so moved by his story and how he told it. I thought, you know what? Bellevue doesn't deserve him. Kent does. Okay, so no rivalry between us and Bellevue. It's only between us and that other relay down south. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, I figured out I have to find a way to get Denny to come and speak to us. And so I asked, how tough was that? And he said yes. So anyway, I just want to tell you a little bit about Denny. I'm sure he'll tell you a lot about himself. He's not exactly shy. He has many, many talents, and he does a lot of different stuff, as you can tell. He's an author, he's a stand-up comedian, he's a corporate trainer, a business consultant, and a professional speaker. And he didn't put on his resume, but he is a generous friend to Relay for Life, and I consider him a friend of mine. I'd like to welcome Denny Anderson.
Well, basically it was a place that sold toupees, but of course when I walked in, that's not what they called them. I walked in and he said, oh, no, rug, no, toupee, no, it's a hair system. Wow, sounds better already. All right. So I went in and I sat down and I said, so, what exactly do you need to do? And he said, well, first of all, you still have a lot of hair. I had about as much hair as I have right now. I was like, you're right, I do. And then he says, so what we're going to do is we have a mat. We're going to put the mat on. One morning I get up on New Year's Day, and my right eye was just really blurry, right? And I just thought that, I'd smoked one too many cigars the night before, or, maybe someone put one out my eye. I didn't know. But I couldn't see very well, so I just blew it off. I mean, like, most guys would do. And just forgot about it. Couldn't see very well, but just forgot about it. Then my mom's a nurse. And, I made the mistake mentioning it to her. Well, after I mentioned it to her, and I just turned 40. So, you always hear, you hit 40, you start to deteriorate a little bit. I thought, well, I'm 40 now, and if it's just one eye, I think I'm in pretty good shape. Well, my mom starts calling me every day. Have you been to the optometrist yet? No, Mom, I'll go. Have you gone yet? No, I'll go, And so, I'm 40, like I told you, my maturity probably stopped at 5. She makes an appointment for me with the eye doctor and calls me. Okay, you have an appointment on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. What? 10 o'clock, eye doctor, you have an appointment. And I still remember Tuesday morning at like 9, I was in my office. I grabbed the phone to cancel the appointment, right? I was busy. I grabbed the phone to cancel the appointment, and I saw my mom go, what? Right here, so I put the phone back down. I was like, all right, I gotta go. And I drove to this optometrist's office. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I figured at least I'd get it out of the way. I was sitting in his lobby, and I was looking, they had all the glasses up in the office, right? So I'm looking at all the glasses, and those are kind of cool, and those almost look like sunglasses, and those will probably make me look smart. I was going through them, and he calls me back. Okay, come on back. Sits me down. He dilates my eyes, and then he leaves the room. So I was sitting there by myself for like 10 minutes, and then pretty soon, my eyes are dilated, and there's just lights everywhere, and he comes back in. Those big contraptions in front of your face? Well, he moves that in front of my face. And I can't see anyway. My eyes are all dilated. I've got the contraption in front of my face. And then all of a sudden I hear him on the phone. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. I didn't hear the phone ring. And I hear him going, no, right now. I need an appointment right now. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, who is he talking about? And then he goes on and on, like, no, this is an emergency. I mean, this could be life or death on man, what? Man, that guy whoever he's talking about, that guy is screwed. And then he moves the thing away from my face and he goes, okay, I just made you an appointment across town. I go, what? Well, then he put me through, a couple hours of testing, from machine to machine, and, he didn't really tell me anything at all. And after 2.5 hours, I was sitting in his office. And, it's amazing how clearly you can remember this stuff. This doctor comes in, and he hits, he had one of those stools with wheels on it that they have. And he comes in, and he takes like 2 steps, and he hits the stool, and it just rolls. He's just right here. Literally, like right like this. He must have practiced, I don't know how many times. And I'm like, hi. Nicely done. And he says, so do you like things sugar-coated? Great. He said, yeah, put as much sugar on it as you can. Sugar-coat like crazy. And he says, well, you got a tumor growing in your right eye, and there's a 95% chance it's cancer. Like, what would it have been without sugar? And I said, well, we both of them were right across the bridge. I ended up going to Swedish. Well, before that, I went to my parents' house, obviously. My eyes were still a little bit dilated. And I walk in, and my mom and dad are in the kitchen, and my mom goes, did you go to that appointment today? I said, yeah, actually I did. And I've got good news. She goes, good, yeah, I'm not the nicest guy. She goes, good news. And I go, I don't need glasses. And she goes, you don't? I said, no, not at all. And then she goes, well, what is it? And I said, well, I told them, and then I went over and met with the surgeon at Swedish, and he said that I said, well, let's cover our options. And he said there was 3. One is do nothing and die, right? Like, one is have your head chopped up, and best case doll hair was what I was hearing. I said, no, I'm not interested in that option at all. And then he said the second option was that they could just plug my eye out and put a glass eye in. Well, that might be fun at parties, but I'm not really that interested in it. And he said that before the research, that a lot of the money that you guys raise doing relays and stuff, actually take a person's eye and pull it out of the skull and then make an incision behind the eyeball and take the tumor out. Then they sew the eyeball up and put it back in the head. And before they were doing the glass eyes, but he said what happened was, and they didn't realize it at the time, but that would release the cancer cells into the body. And the patient would end up dying 2 or 3 or 4 years later from kidney, lung, or liver cancer. So he said that they realized pretty quickly that when you're dealing with cancer, it's not something, as an eye doctor, he said it was always about saving the eye. What can we do to save the eye? He said now when it's cancer, it's not even about saving the eye, it's about saving the patient. And so that's when they just started, as soon as they found it, what I had, take the eye out, put it in a glass eye. That was it. Well, there was a new technology that had just come out, which was way, way better than the dyed rat thing in comparison. They took my eye and shoved it down into my skull and then put a radioactive chip behind my eyeball. And then I would be like that for a week. And then they take my eye, shove it back down, and take the chip out. So it was 2 surgeries, and it was a week having a radioactive chip behind my eye with a bracelet. Nobody could come within 10 feet of me. There was a bracelet that had the nuclear sign on it, which is always a little disturbing when I look down. And, when it said on there, no one could come within 10 feet. So I asked the doctor at one point, I said, no one can come within 10 feet of me because of that nuclear chip I have in my eye, right? And he goes, yeah, and I go, the one that's like 1.5 inches from my brain. He goes, yeah, that's right. Okay, just clarifying, thank you. When I came out of surgery, the first time, obviously I was pretty out of it. And I remember looking up, and there were 2 nurses over here, there was one over here. And the 2 nurses over here started to walk towards me as I was coming to. And the nurse over here goes, no, he's hot. I said, what? What did they do to me? Can you say that one more time? And, the time that you're putting into this, because, honestly, I can say there's probably a slim chance if it wasn't for the technology that I'd be here, because I don't think I would have gone for the glass eye. I probably would have had to take the eye out and cut into it, and, just not knowing the reason that they knew was because of the money that you guys raised. So, thank you very much.